With us tonight, Tim Hansing, CEO of Red Planet Hotels Limited. Tim, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Coco. Good to be
Let's set the stage a little here. So, Tune Hotels is what people see.
Yes.
They have about 30 hotels so far, mostly in Asia, a few of them in the UK. Red Planet, is essentially a franchisee
Yes.
of Tune in 7 countries.
Correct.
And you have about 14 hotels now, 10 more in the pipeline.
Yes.
How did this relationship start?
Well, it was a few years ago. After having been in the 5-star business all my life, I decided that it's very nice, but these hotels cost a lot of money to build, to charge people a lot of money. They're not always the best value for money. And we thought, my founders and I, we thought, let's do something where, we can really get some volume, drive this and make some money, because the budget hotel business is very profitable, much more profitable than the 5-star business. So we were looking at it, and we saw that Tony Fernandez had started up a business in Malaysia, and we thought that this could have tremendous success. So we approached Tune, had a discussion with them, and we signed up straight away.
In the beginning, you just wanted to do one hotel.
We started looking at just the one, and we thought, this is so scalable, we just loved it. So when we looked at Asia, Asia is the fastest growing tourism market in the world today, and it's also part of the world that has the least amount of budget hotels or branded budget hotels in it. So we thought, we'll go to the largest market, the fastest market, and the market with least competition, and go and do it there. So that's why we kind of decided to do it.
Like you said, before this you'd been in luxury hotels most of your life, Movenpick first, and then Kingdom Hotels, which is owned by Prince Alwyn.
Right.
Names like Savoy, The Plaza,
Yes.
Fairmont come into play there. How quickly into your hotel career did you realize that luxury hotels aren't as profitable as budget hotels?
I think it's something that's just known generally, but a lot of people don't do it, certainly on a regional scale, because you have to build something quickly in budget hotels. Often you'll just do budget like Premier Inns in the UK, or there's Fave hotels in Indonesia. They just do it in one country. So we wanted to be different, because we wanted to build a regional platform very quickly. So we decided to do 3 countries straight away, Philippines being part of our first phase.
Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines.
Correct.
Known as the TIPS sometimes.
Okay.
VIP, right?
Fine. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So we wanted to do those there right away, and build scale as fast as possible, because in the budget sector, if you don't build scale, you'll get eaten alive by your costs. So we built very quickly. We've opened about a hotel a month in the last sort of 14 months, and we've got under construction now, as you said, 11 hotels. So they're all going to open up in the next 6 to 12 months. So we'll build scale. And
you build them in about 18 months.
Correct, yeah.
You like to build your own hotels. You don't want to buy an old building and
we will buy. 2 of our hotels, one in Japan and one in Thailand, are refurbishments. But generally we like to then you can get, if you build your own, you can get the brand concept correct and keep it consistent. Because a lot of brands will badge a hotel and there's quite inconsistency in some of their products, so we like to make sure everything's consistent. So if you stay in one Tune hotel in Thailand, it's going to be exactly the same as the one in Ermita here, for example, or Cebu.
Now, you guys keep on saying that the 2 or 3 things you really need for a good budget hotel are, number 1, a 5-star bed.
Yes. Not
a 5-star room, but a 5-star bed.
Correct.
And a power shower.
Yes.
How quickly did you realize, or did Tune realize, those are what you need?
Well, it's just...
And why the power shower?
What are the 2 things that every guest in the hotel is going to do? He's going to get in a bed, and he's going to have a shower, mostly. So that needs to be your focus, right? So what's the one thing a guest does in a hotel room for the longest period of time that he's in there? He's in the bed. Okay, so the bed has to be the focus. And so providing this 5-star bed, and it's super comfortable. I have one, I sleep on one in my own home, and I remember selecting it, and it's a fabulous experience. And then power shower, because often in some hotels you put the shower on and there's this dribble of water, or the water comes out and it goes each side of you, doesn't actually hit you because they haven't cleaned it properly, right? So this sort of attention to detail is very, very basic, and simple. But we have one of our core values at Red Planet with 4 core values. The top one is keep it simple and do it properly. So that's what we've done. We've kept everything simple. We think about things, make them simple, and then just do it properly. One of our sort of success criteria is, the guest has to leave the hotel, right? Walk out of there and think, that was value for money. How many times have you left a restaurant or a hotel and you walk out of there and think, that was eye-wateringly expensive, and did I get value for money? And the answer is no. There's a lot of times when you've walked out and you haven't had value. So that the whole brand concept, the bed, the power shower, is all about providing value for money and having people come back to us.
Who's the market?
In each country that we operate, the largest market is the local nationals. So in the Philippines, it's about 80% of our business.
Where do they used to go?
They used to go and get ripped off at larger hotels, and they are more expensive hotels, and they used to stay at budget hotels that are falling to pieces. So there's an obvious, to us there was an obvious gap in the market for this. So we've got 5 hotels. We opened the 6th today, so we had the 5 hotels in the Philippines. Year to date, their performance is 85% occupancy, which is fabulous. It's a resounding, if you like, vote of confidence.
What's your average occupancy across the board?
Across the board, it's around about 80 to 85%.
You're talking Red Planet and Tune, or
just the Red Planet Tune hotels.
Yeah.
But generally, that's how they should work. Well, that's how we wanted them to work, because you've got to go for volume, and then we have flexible pricing.
So most of the market is local.
Yes, and 50% of our business, 70% of our business is booked within the last week before stay.
What does that tell you?
It's just lead times getting shorter. So people don't book 3 weeks in advance anymore, 4 months in advance. They book so short lead times, and that usually means you've got a local market because people aren't planning flights and all of that sort of thing. And we get a lot of walking business as well. People are walking along the streets. We've made our hotels look fun. They have lights that change colour on the outside. And when we opened a meter, the traffic in the road came to a standstill when we hit the lights on when we did our opening, because everybody couldn't believe this changing colours of lights. So we make them fun and exciting, not tawdry and boring.
Talking about fun and exciting, when people, especially outside of Asia, talk about Asia, what comes to their mind is exotic, resorts, etc. But you're not in the resort industry.
No, throughout my career, I've looked at, we've owned resorts, and they're always the most problematic of the hotels. There's a terrorism event, and then all the tourists go, but the businessmen still have to go. So you kind of want to be. It's all about protecting your downside in the hotels. So, and resorts have such terrible seasonality, and it rains, so nobody's going to come and stay with you. So you're always dealing with these challenges, and you've got enough to do in your life without having to deal with all of this sort of stuff. So we've kept it simple, right? We've just gone to the places that are busy all year round, and that's where we're building hotels.
So if I heard you correctly, you've picked what would seem to you, at least, to be the most profitable part of the hotel industry.
Yes.
And you're only doing it in places that have little seasonality, meaning they're going to be 85% year-round.
Yes.
That's in cities.
Yes.
What are you missing out on by not being in the resort side?
I'm missing out on fewer people. Right? The Tune brand isn't really a resort brand anyway, and it's and the budget sector really isn't designed for resorts. If you go and ask a family to stay in a resort that's got very small rooms, things can get fraught. It's more visiting friends and family in a city and city tourism, and it's much better because even in a city. You have seasonality in your certain segments of them. Sometimes the government's busy, or the tourists come to the city, or the businessmen are coming to the city. So, for example, in the summer, tourists come to the city when the businessmen go away. And then now, coming into peak season now, you've got some tourists and you've got the businesses and you've got the governments doing that thing. So it's great, but you need to have several segments of demand to fill your hotel and not just rely on one. So if you rely on one, the tourist, and he goes, you're empty.
I guess what threw me off there is the link between Red Planet and of course Tune with AirAsia.
Yeah.
Budget airline.
Yes.
Lots of tourists rather than businessman.
Right.
So I thought that there was a stronger link there, and therefore you had to provide that kind of experience for them.
Just because you're in a resort doesn't mean to say that I mean, just to say if you're in a city doesn't mean to say you're not catering to tourists. It just means that you de-risk your hotel's performance because you cater to other markets as well.
Yeah.
So we do cater to tourists, a lot of them, and they all come to cities. But we have good relationship with AirAsia, and we bundle up packages and sell them.
How many percent of your guests are AirAsia passengers?
Those that book through AirAsia and book through Tune, probably about 10%. Those that are, let's call it wider, those that are travellers on budget airlines, I think a significant amount. I don't know if you've ever flown on a budget airline.
Yes, of course.
Great.
All the time now.
Good, yeah. Well, why wouldn't you, right? So, value for money, right? So, if you just look around you, those are our guests. It's people that get it. It's people that don't feel the need to stay in some big luxury place because they know they're going to be asleep for 5 hours only. So, it's like, why do I need to book on some of the national carriers where I can get from A to B in a good level of comfort, right? And pay a third or a tenth of the price. So the same as for the hotel business.
But I'm happy and glad to fly on a budget airline and have to pay for the peanuts or the soft drink that they offer me. But get to the hotel and pay for the towel?
Well, you don't have to, though. That's the point. So you got a price. Let's say it's 10, right? And if you think that's too much for me, and I'm going to bring my own towel anyway. And a lot of people do. They bring their own towels, right? They save a bit of money, save a couple of dollars. It's a lot of money for some people. So what we wanted to do was, in that vein of adding value, right, is allow people to almost create their own package, right, depending on how much value they wanted. So if you're going in, you're going to be late and you're going to leave early. Do you want to pay to have TV? Probably not. So you don't have to pay for it. In a traditional hotel, you pay for it. It's all in the room rate. You're paying for the spas, the saunas, the fancy restaurants.
The air conditioning.
Air conditioning. If you don't want it, you don't have to pay for it.
Does that work in the Philippines?
Yeah.
So in hot countries, you can still have a budget hotel.
Because some of our guests, a lot of our guests, the Singaporean taxi driver or whomever, don't have AC in their houses anyway. So why bother? Why would you charge them extra for it when they didn't want it? And that's the whole point.
You've really pinned it down, haven't you?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to take a very short break. More Inside Business when we come back. Stay with us.